Pixar has given us our very first look at their upcoming film, Lightyear, which aims to tell the origin story of Space Ranger Buzz Lightyear. In this video, we'll be taking a look at the trailer and discussing exactly what this truly bizarre looking film is. All the details right here. Before we get into this, don't forget to hit that like button down below. It does wonders in getting my content out there. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to keep up to date with all the cartoon news. That's right, we finally got our very first trailer for Lightyear, Pixar's upcoming science fiction blockbuster set to hit cinemas in June of 2022. Lightyear is of course a spin-off of Pixar's lucrative Toy Story franchise, focusing on the character of Buzz Lightyear. However, there's one little twist. This is not the Buzz Lightyear that we all know and love, but the Space Ranger who inspired him. To understand what's really going on here, it's important to distinguish this movie as its own entity from the rest of the Toy Story films, or at the very least, recognize it as an extension of their greater lore. Last year at the Disney Investor Day, Pixar CEO Pete Docter described the movie as such. When we created the very first Toy Story, we designed Buzz Lightyear with the idea that he was a toy based on some really cool character from an epic blockbuster film. Well, all these years later, we decided it's time to make that film. A synopsis released alongside the trailer additionally notes, the sci-fi action-adventure presents the definitive origin story of Buzz Lightyear, the hero who inspired the toy, introducing the legendary Space Ranger who would win generations of fans. Interestingly, both descriptions of the film are a little bit contradictory. Docter's earlier statements point to this being a fictional character in a blockbuster film, while the new synopsis implies that within the Toy Story universe, Buzz Lightyear was a real guy who had a blockbuster film based on his life. Regardless of the exact specifics, Lightyear needs to be looked at as an in-universe movie, one that has been lifted from the fictional world of the Toy Story saga and plopped into ours. One thing is clear, what we are about to witness is the in-universe inspiration for the toy we've all come to love. Essentially, this film can be looked at as an extension of the previous Buzz Lightyear of Star Command movie and series from the early 2000s. For those too young to remember, this was an animated series that followed the exploits of Buzz and his fellow Star Command Rangers. This too was an in-universe series, with the pilot movie even seeing the Toy Story gang sitting down in front of a television to watch it. We've seen throughout the Toy Story films that Buzz Lightyear comes from a grander franchise, with various pieces of merchandise being seen throughout the saga. Now we are finally getting to enjoy what is presumably Andy's favourite film. The great thing about Lightyear is that it's quite obviously heavily inspired by classic sci-fi films of the 70s and 80s. Everything from the dirty costumes to the practical effects robots to the overall visual aesthetic absolutely scream vintage sci-fi. This absolutely feels like a movie that could have existed in a pre-1995, pre-Toy Story 1 world, as opposed to a modern-day blockbuster. There's moments in here, in fact, that look ripped directly from a classic Star Wars movie. Buzz's spacecraft looks like Luke Skywalker's X-Wing, and one sequence even sees him landing in a Dagobah-like swamp planet. Another scene sees him flying through hyperspace, entirely reminiscent of the Millennium Falcon's famous maneuver. The film is set to reveal how this young test pilot became the Space Ranger we all know him to be today, drawing clear parallels between Buzz and Luke Skywalker. Essentially, this movie is Andy's Star Wars. There are some great references that Buzz fans will pick up on in here too. Of course, there is his spaceship, which is essentially a super-powered version of the spaceship-inspired packaging that the toy arrives in the original Toy Story. It has a white body with both blue and purple elements, as well as red stripes along its wings alongside the Star Command logo. We also get a small reveal of the film's Buzz Lightyear spacesuit, which again follows the basic scheme of the toy: white body, green chest plate, purple stripes, red, green and blue buttons, the Star Command insignias and Lightyear nameplate. Of course, there's the purple head cap as well. Interestingly, it's the toy version that actually looks like a more advanced and modern suit, with the film version appearing a little more rustic. Perhaps the toy version is actually based in-universe on a different iteration of the character, likely the one seen in the cartoon. While Buzz's pals from the animated series don't appear here, such as Mira, XR and Booster, we do get a look at various other Space Rangers who appear in similar spacesuits. Interestingly though, the word booster is spoken at the beginning of the trailer, though it's likely in reference to the booster rockets on Buzz's spacecraft. But there is every possibility that this ground control controller is calling out a call sign. It would be nice if Pixar did include these characters, or at the very least give them a little bit of a nod, but I honestly wouldn't count on it, particularly as that original series was not a Pixar invention. We do, however, get to see some Zerg bots in this shot right here, and while they do look a little bit different, it's clear that these are the same guys depicted in the Buzz Lightyear video game seen at the beginning of Toy Story 2. They take on a different design, but they do bear the Z insignia on their chests. It's likely Emperor Zerg will be seen as the film's leading villain, and this is probably him rising to face Buzz during some sort of confrontation scene. Let's just hope it's maybe a little bit more epic than this. One major thing to note here is that Buzz Lightyear will be taking on a brand new voice, no longer provided by Tim Allen, who's lent his voice to the toy version for the last 26 years. Lending his voice to the blockbuster Buzz is of course our very own action star, Chris Evans, an inspired piece of casting to have Captain America, our universe's Buzz Lightyear, taking on that mantle too. While we don't get to hear much from Evans's performance, it does seem clear he won't be imitating Allen's deep voice, but presenting a more natural vocal performance. They've also beautifully incorporated Evans's face and expressions into this character design, somewhat blending it with elements from the toy Buzz we've known forever. Overall, I am pumped for this movie. Despite being based on an existing property, it somehow looks incredibly unique and just so damn cool. The premise behind this is really awesome as well, and I'm not sure we've ever really seen anything like it. Aside from that, this looks to be a visually gorgeous and terrific homage to the classics we've all grown up with. A planet-hopping space saga with great action and introspective drama. And this is before I even mention how terrific the animation on this thing is. I am continuously blown away at how Pixar and Disney can continue to push this envelope. Sign me up to the Lightyear Academy right now. Again, Lightyear opens exclusively in theaters in June of 2022. If you'd like to keep up to date with all the biggest cartoon news, don't forget to like and subscribe to see more regular installments like this. And if you're keen on diving deep into the history of all your favourite animated characters, don't forget to check out my continuing Cartoon Evolution series linked at the end of the video. And at that, I'm throwing it over to you. I want to know, what are your thoughts on Pixar's Lightyear? Are you excited for this one, or are you not sold just yet? Fire away down in the comments below and let me know your thoughts. Hey everyone, if you haven't yet, smash that big old subscribe button up on your screen to keep up to date with all my content, and hit that like button down below. Also, don't forget to check me out on social media, and please consider supporting me over on Patreon for as little as $1 a month for exclusive videos, early access content, and to get your name up on the screen. Thanks again for watching.